Hello, all my silky friends. I hope you can hear me okay. Let me turn my comments on. And I'm not gonna waste a whole lot of time because we have got some great info to go through, and I am so excited, y'all. Um, Hello, Professor Pug, Kib Kitty. Hello. That's okay. You have to watch the replay. It's okay because I know CJ. CJ is a busy guy, and I know you mod for him. Um, Love CJ. I'm going to do a show with him again soon. Hello, Polygraph. Thank you. Um, let's see. Jinxie is going to be modding for me tonight as well. She's saying hi to everybody. Um, oh, I didn't mean to hit that one, but thank you so much. I appreciate Jinx so much for what she does. Is Justice in here? Did I miss her? But we've got the link to Justice, y'all. If you haven't subbed to Justice, oh my gosh, please do. Um, Just Deb, hello. We've got to get together soon. Jinx, you're so funny. Ah, Mommy Wolverine, it is good to see you. And let me make sure I haven't missed anybody. CJK, hello. Again, I don't want to miss anybody because y'all are so important. Digital, hello. Jennifer, hello. Um, Kelly, I hate to not call everybody out that I possibly can because y'all don't know how. Hello, Bonnie. Uh, I I really appreciate you so much being here, and I don't want to miss you. Hello, Indie Pam, and wait, let's see who else is above here. Alatera. Hello. I don't remember seeing you before, but that doesn't mean anything because I have the memory of a 6-week-old puppy. So there you go. Unmasked Truth, good to see you. Kelt, always good to see you. Tom Moore was in Delphi today. Ooh, interesting. Uh, AP Visuals. I'm not gonna highlight that. Okay, I'm not gonna highlight that one. I'm gonna say this. Okay, I sometimes have guests on the platform that some people do not like. So let me just say this right now. Just keep it classy, okay? I don't want anybody to be booted out. Uh, and we want to listen to what everybody has to say, okay? I'm an adult, you're an adult. So if you have ever, I know people have on past guests, I've gotten some comments. Look, everybody has something to say, and as long as it's respectful, I'm going to let them say it. Butterfly Kisses, it is so good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Connor, I'm sorry. I know our guest is waiting. I just really don't want to. Hoosier, hello. I don't want to leave anybody out since you're taking time out of your day. Raggedy Susan, hello. All right, without further ado, let me get. Y'all know how I love to do this. All right, we have with us tonight, we have 4Pittbulls across America. Hello, 4Pitts.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for having me on, Silky.
Oh, you are welcome. You were so intriguing on my open panel the other night. It's like we all had so many questions, and
And and I'm not going to be on too much. And I'm gonna do one with Ruckus. This you and Ruckus, and I'll probably be done. I'm just wore out. I've been on this train for 6.5 years. I'm wore out.
yeah,
I'm
it,
like I've been through all these creators, and I'm here for facts and truth. And
me
what I've
too.
learned from the case, what I've learned from the case, what I've taken as facts. I'm not here for much more for any of the speculations. They're kind of they burnt me out with it, and I'm definitely not here to be clowned on or provoked. So you can't do that to me. I've just been through so much of it. You're not going to succeed. If you want to trash your own channel, go ahead.
Yeah.
I've learned. I've learned how to take care of it. So
Well,
you know,
Jinx is really good about kicking out people who are disrespectful. And again, like
who
I said,
who who wouldn't want to hear from a person that knows all these people?
I want to hear from
Like
you.
here's the thing. Not everybody from Delphi knows as many people as I do. I'm a twin, and my best friends were twins, and we had 3 sets of twins on the wrestling team.
Wow.
We know a lot of people. Like you take a twin and you take one of the twins and know all the people he knows, and you take the other twin and you combine that, well, you know them all. So not everybody knows everybody in the manner that I know all these players. I
Right.
got around. I worked hard. I worked for everybody. Me and my brother had a lot of clientele. You know, we were star wrestlers. We were part of the community. These people raised me. So some of my actions, reactions, behaviors, they coincide with how the players act. It's kind of like an upbringing in that area of a little bit of arrogance, a little bit of not being too humble, a little bit of admitting your wrongs. It you're brought up with it. There's no way to get rid of it in me. They raised me, you know, so I am a little bit like them. I try my hardest not to be, but sometimes it doesn't work out. So
Well, nobody is perfect, okay? And we're not here to debate
and
anybody's actions or character. We're here for information because
and I'm
Pits,
like
I feel like you've got it.
I do have a lot. I have a lot of key facts written down here in my handy dandy notebook tonight. We're going to cover. We'll get through them best we can. But like I've offered these guys that even want to give me a hard time or throw my name out there, I've gave them the chance to bring me on live. I've gave them the chance to bring up these photos. I've been pushing them for 4 months, 5 months to bring the photos up that we're going to bring up tonight that I cropped personally. That, in my opinion, are better than anything the NASA crew or all these agencies came up with or the sketches. I'm not so. We'll say that. Like, I'm not sure when you want to bring them up, but I guess right now would be a good time.
Yeah. So
Let's
you,
start. Let's
this
start with
show
these.
is yours. You
Yeah.
take off and you start wherever you want to.
Let's. Okay, I'll just start here at the top of my page. Like, we're talking about my community that I grew up in, my hometown. So, like, I feel like I'm in the race car. Like, I'm in the race car. I'm trying to get to the front of the line because all you people that don't really know the people, you're trying. You're trying to come up with info and facts and you hearsay of stuff. Like, I'm going to be the first in fucking line to talk about Delphi. I'm from there. I get offended by some of the things that are said, and I agree
Hmm.
with a lot of things. I agree with a lot of the things that are said. So I'm at the front of the race now, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to back Delphi up in areas they need backed up, and I'm going to call them out in the areas they need called out. So you know,
So you were around the last show you were talking about how you were on the wrestling team with Derek German. So like, do you know the Patties as well, or
yeah,
like really just
yeah, I know Mike and Becky. I know them. Yep, I know Brad and Terry German. I know them
okay?
all. I know Nick McClelland's family, mother. One of my wrestling coaches dated Nick's mom in when I was in high school,
Wow.
and then I used to take Nick wrestling.
Oh,
Nick
so
tried to
he's a
wrestle for
wrestler.
he tried for a year. He was, I guess you would, he was a quitter. He was a quitter of the sport. And then Nick lived across the street from me in Camden when we were young. Like I was 7 or 8. Nick was 3, 4, maybe 5. I was from anywhere from 6 to 10. Nick was from 3 to 5. They lived right across the street from me, and I went to
Wow.
Camden Elementary. Yeah, so I know the prosecutor and his crowd very well. Yes, I used to party with his dad. I mean, I could tell, you know, Nick slept with my ex-wife. I slept with Nick's dad's ex-wife. Uh, I don't,
You're not kidding
I don't,
about spilling the tea.
I don't know how much, I don't know how much realer you want me to get. Like, when I'm up here telling you this, I'm telling you fucking just because I'm telling you, you know.
Yeah. Well,
So
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just YouTube has so many guidelines about the
I,
way you say things. So,
let's talk about some of the Nick and his background and how he came into the position of prosecutor.
okay,
Nick's grandma Nick's grandmother worked the courthouse most of her life. Okay, and they had
yeah,
one of the bigger farms and some of the best river bottom farmland there in Carroll County. They sold it off to a hardwood company, but they were prominent farmers in the county and very respectable people. The grandparents were Doris and Dick, Nick's grandparents. Well, they had 5 boys. Nick's daddy was TT, Steve McClellan. Well, Nick was just coming out of high school, and his dad decided he was going to burn down one of the family farms because he didn't like one of the farmhouses, and he was arrested for arson.
mm-hmm.
And,
Wow,
around
wow,
around that around that time, Nick started pursuing his legal career and more in guards to get dad out of jail, to try to figure out how to get learn how to. And dad got out of jail. Nick got dad out of jail 2 years after the arson. He did 2 years, I think,
wow.
and his dad's passed on now. But and then Nick has his troubles. He's an alcoholic. He's had his DUI driving boat on the lake. He's in and out of the bar all the time. Mom sees him come in the bar all the time. Mom goes into Smoking Dog's saloon. She was just here this weekend camping, and I asked her a little bit about Tara and Amanda. Tara German and Amanda, they work the Smoking Dogs. They're bartenders now. Some
Hmm.
of the bartenders,
Yeah,
and like I talking, at the bar.
yeah. You're breaking up a little bit. You're. I think it's your internet. You're breaking up a little bit. Well, and there he's gone. He'll be back in a second. Are you there now?
I am here.
Okay. Yeah, it was getting the video is which it was so clear the other night, and the audio was breaking up and the video was. So I don't know what that is.
Can you hear me now?
Only just a little
Are we good
bit.
now?
Now I can hear you. Say something again.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
So mom says the town's not even talking anymore. It's not a topic, really. It's not a topic in the town. What's anything to? They just don't talk about it much. So, like, for all of us YouTubers and stuff that might think that they're really, really concerned about what we're saying or doing, the way she sounded, they could care the fuck less.
They're just over
You
it.
know?
They're
Yeah.
just over it. Does most
I
of the
suppose they,
town?
I,
I'm
I suppose
sorry.
they figure they. I suppose they figure they got their guy and they trust in what Liggett and Tobe and Nick are doing.
I know that you've had some problems with Liggett, but I mean, do you think they have their guy?
They got it written out, and some of the things they've got wrote and showed that it's pointing that way.
I mean,
But
yeah,
there's a lot of that there's a lot of things in it that could be argued
yeah, for
very well,
sure.
very well argued out.
So, what
You know,
were you touched on this a little bit the other day? What were Tobe and what was Tobe like in school?
well, Tobe, he was just a everyday average nobody. He was a good guy though. Now listen, Tobe was one of the better officers, county officers before he came sheriff. Tobe would pull you over and he would not harass you in any way. He was very polite. He always took an ear to listen to what you had to say, and he was a very understanding man. But I'll tell you, Tobe really wasn't the type of guy that needed to be sheriff. And even one of the main lawyers in town, Patrick Manahan, which I think Nick has gotten a lot of pointers from. Pat's like the go-to lawyer, and his knowledge of the court system is very, very strong. And like Pat Manahan even said, we talked about it when Tobe got elected. And he said And he kind of chuckled. And, you know, I was rooting for Tobe, but Manahan was like, you know, he's not the guy for the job. And then when I was in Carroll County facility, I had a special meeting with Tobe on one. Things were rough around a couple years before the murders. Things were just out of hand. I actually told him when I was in the facility, you know, I feel safer in here than I do out on on the streets. And you know, things are out of hand. I tried to talk to him, so
Really?
he had a lot of warning. He had a lot of warning ahead of time. Things were bad, and then like so, I graduated with, and I worked for Jimmy Lieber, which Toby lives on the property. Sarah's father, and the daughter.
Okay, we lost him again. I don't know what's up. Does anybody know if somebody can? I mean, he has a private link, so I don't know. It's not my internet. Are you back, 4Pitts?
Yeah, I'm back.
I don't know what
I'm back.
I really haven't had this problem before. It's a little sus.
I've never. Well, of course, StreamYard's the only thing I've been on, and then this seems like a doctor called me.
Uh, yeah, I mean, this one usually works really well. Um, the thing is with StreamYard is sometimes it glitches if you're rural, which I'm, you know, I'm
So,
rural, but I usually don't have problems with this one.
so back to it, like, and then like Sarah has a sister named Liza, and her husband was Jeremy Hayden. He was a very good friend of mine, and that would have been Tobe's brother-in-law. He died of a heroin overdose a few years back, and you know, Tobe and them were supposedly trying to help him, but I don't know how much they helped him versus hurt him. And you know, like I really know these guys. You know, I really know them, and I thought a lot of Toby really until I seen that damn interview with Hannah and the comment about Carrie and where he come back with you know what kind of girl she is or whatever.
Yeah.
That all the things I failed to ever want to admit about the man, he proved me wrong right there, and it kind of
Hey, 4Pitts,
hit my
you're cutting
spot.
out again. What?
I don't know what I can do. Let me try to step
Okay.
outside.
All right. You take your time.
Let's see if
Yeah, let's get because I really want
I,
to hear what you have to say, and I don't know why we're having such
I
a problem.
this any better.
So far, let's see. Say something again.
Is this a little better?
Yeah, so far that sounds good. Okay, continue.
So that really, you know, changed my view. Let me get my notebook.
Yeah, it did mine too. I have to say, well, I don't know if it changed my view, but it certainly made an impact on it. I thought that was terrible.
Just put a sour taste in your mouth,
Yes, absolutely.
you know. But so, and then the way they did Mike Thomas,
Oh yeah,
really. And now Tobe's second in charge. You know, he's chief deputy after Liggett. Now they kind of just changed
yeah.
roles.
And
So nothing.
is does
This
that happen? Let me ask you. Does that happen often? Because where I'm at, when one sheriff goes out, his whole crew goes out. Like,
no, these guys keep it tight. That they've had the same jail commander for 30 years.
oh my god.
Yeah, Lori, and she's probably the one that decided she didn't want Richard Allen in her jail because Lori's tired. She's been tired for past 5 or 10 years of the damn facility. She's just done ready to get out of it, retire. You know,
Yeah.
so like she definitely didn't want to deal with that. I'm sure. And
Okay.
I went to school with her too.
Oh really? Is
Yeah,
Dan Doolin currently the fire chief?
he possibly could be. I don't know. I've heard something about that.
Okay.
I could ask. I could ask around and find out.
But he wasn't when the girls went with Abby and Libby, was he? Right?
I
He was a
no. I
DNR.
yeah. I don't believe so. No.
I don't know who it was. But sorry to
Then,
interrupt. Go ahead.
then we got. Let's see. Oh, so way back when I was a young boy, so like we got this Daniel Pearson
Yeah.
thing. Everybody didn't realize at first there were two of them. There were two Daniel Pearsons.
Wow.
Yeah, so they were going after the one that has troubles and was meth and blah blah blah. But the real one that was at the bridge that day was Daniel Pearson, which is Scott Pearson's boy, which is a retired Carroll County deputy. Scott
Mm-hmm.
is, and they were kind of like neighbors to the Patties. They just lived right down the country road, about 3/4 of a mile, maybe a mile. And this Daniel Pearson we're discussing right now, he was the one that was under the bridge, supposedly having an argument or a confrontation with somebody, and they've just kind of left him out of the PCA. Supposedly, he hired an attorney. Um, it's just odd to me that the way they handled that with him. I feel like this kid is one of the main witnesses that should be front and center. Um, I feel like they've done it because Scott was a retired deputy, and he is good friends with Tobe, and Tobe was sheriff, and I'm like they were cop buddies. Them two were cop buddies, like not. I'm sure all the force associated, but these guys would go fishing together and hunting together and blah blah blah. So I think that's how this whole Daniel Pearson thing has kind of disappeared.
Hmm.
That's something, a lot of other people are starting to come to that, and they're wondering where I come up with it. And there's been Skip Jansen put some stuff out there about it, and Rick Snake kind of was on that track, and then he turned off the track, and then Randy Gavitt was on the track, and I mean off the track, but now he's put some stuff out there wondering, well, what kind of clothes was Daniel Pearson wearing, and where did he go? When did he leave underneath the bridge? Which direction did he go? Who saw him leave? What vehicle did he get in? Was he with the girls, the three girls? He was arguing with the girl under a bridge. So where are them two in the picture? So this is like if you're going to a jury trial, these are some of the things that I do believe Edwards and Rossi are paying enough attention to that they're going to bring up. Um, and then we've got a Terry Wilson. Terry Wilson on the witness list.
Yeah. Who is
Supposedly
that?
Terry. I worked for Terry. He ran Extreme Contractors
Okay.
out of Reynolds. I worked for Terry for about 5 years. We poured all the concrete at the Carroll County Courthouse and all them handrails, metal handrails. I built all them handrails at the courthouse. But Terry supposedly seen this PT Cruiser backed in backwards, and that's why he's on the witness list. But they're Dave McCain. Um, I know Dan. I worked for Dan on the trails. Uh, I find it funny that him and Dave were both out on the Dave and him were both on the trails that day.
Why would they be out there that day on a Monday?
Well, I get that they go out there and they look at trees that need trimmed in on the trails. They spray weeds. That's what got me with that back spray. The girls might have been sprayed down with a chemical. I don't know if you had ever heard that.
No.
Yeah,
No.
how long have you been following the case?
Well, I was following, I mean, off and on for the whole time, but for most of the time, I was just following the narrative, news reports and stuff. And actually, I started this channel having no inclination to do Delphi, and I fell down the rabbit hole. When Richard
Yeah,
Allen was arrested, I mean, I was still on the narrative, and then I started exploring, and I'm like, well, I hate these things don't make sense, so I need some answers.
these are some of the things that aren't making sense to me. Like, you know, I know you got a guy in custody and stuff, but you've really left a lot of room for people to be like, whoa, where's all
Yeah.
this? Yeah, where's all this go? Where'd all this stuff go? Man, you left a lot of unanswered stuff, and then you put out some sketches, you, and you put out some really, but you kind of led us on a goose chase, you know. And then all of a sudden, now you got a guy. You got all this stuff you claim to have on him, but you can't provide evidence. You can provide the speculatory evidence, the real stuff you don't have.
You're you're cutting out again. That really
I'm
makes
not
me
sure if I can do anything to help you.
I think it's just on. I don't know if it's where you're. Are you in the same area you were that you called in the other night, or have you moved?
Yeah, no, I haven't moved.
That's weird. That's really weird. Okay, I can hear you fine now. I think it just glitches sometimes.
And then I'm just reading a little. I used to go to the High Bridge when I was a kid, like the Richard Allen fishing, watching fish story. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, he like we used to snare suckers from the High Bridge, so that's not an unrealistic story.
Was it
We
as
would,
dangerous back then as it
yeah,
was? Like, cause I wouldn't go out there.
I, we were 13, 14, 15 years old when we'd float and fish the Deer Creek, and honestly, us boys didn't even have business out there on that bridge, let alone these girls going out there.
Yeah.
Like, it's very disappointing to know that Becky let them girls go to the High Bridge alone. Like, I'm serious. I am so serious. Like, I just can't believe I wouldn't have let my daughter. My daughter's was the girls' age. I wouldn't have let Elizabeth go. No way.
Yeah. That's the one
That's
of the first things I
so.
said when I
Well,
saw the case. What were they doing out there?
I'm not trying to dog on them. I'm really not. But the facts are the facts.
Yeah.
You know,
I
I got a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
time.
Sometimes, are you there?
My service is terrible. Show.
He'll be back. Yeah. I mean, that
We got glitches.
that is so weird. I wonder if there's trouble with a tower where you're at or something. I don't know.
And then, so I don't know if you're willing to pull them pictures up for a moment
Yes, absolutely.
or not.
Hold on. Let me go to this. Okay, yeah. This is from the beginning now. When I pull this, go to the next one, you're not going to see yourself on screen. You're there. That just um don't get confused. There we go. So what is this? Okay, for anybody who doesn't know, he sent me pictures of Bridge Guy, and you know how we have all like really enlarged them and stuff like that. Well, that's what this is. So tell me, Four Pits, what are we looking for right here?
Well, right here on this one, it looks to me like, is this the first one I sent you? Probably the biggest photo of him.
Yes. Well, it's the first one you sent.
Well, I can clearly see facial structure, very little.
Yeah, I agree with that. It would be hard to see. I mean, I see. I might should back that down a little bit. I'm looking at it. Let me see if
It
I
still
back it
does.
down
I
if
can
it's
still
a
see
little
it.
clearer. I know what I'm looking
I
at
know
because
each phone shows different
this is like the
pixels.
side of the face. If you see the
My
left
phone
side of the
shows the
screen, I don't
image
know
you're
if you can
showing
tell.
much
But what is that
bigger
white thing? Is
than
that
what
like a
I'm
collar? Oh,
seeing.
Four Pits is gone again. Um, I don't know what happened.
And if he
All right, let me
does
go
have
back
a
to the chat. Can y'all see what? Let's see. What are you saying? Okay. All right. Yeah, I saw that picture. Wasn't that a drawing though? Right. Well, what about the
Like,
one though
I
that
like one other thing I want to point out. Okay,
huh?
so if you're a jury member and you looking at this, you can see it clear as clear as I see it.
Hey,
Looking at this, if you put a picture of Richard Allen's old picture or his new picture up beside this picture,
uh-huh.
and you said, "Does this like Richard Allen to you? Does it resemble either one of these photos of Richard Allen?" Richard Allen, and to me, I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it, and that's the second. That's the second photo. Second photo where I can really just
Yeah. They make it smaller.
their nose isn't shaped enough to actually see up into their nostrils. Where this guy's face is a shape and nose shape where you can actually see the nostrils. And then once
Yeah.
again, this is a man in his between. I'm going to say this is a man between the age of 25 and 40. Um, that's just what I see. I mean, it's I see it. So, but I
To me,
most of the photos I've seen of most of the photos I've seen of Richard Allen is carrying a goatee. Um, this I see very little facial hair around the mouth, maybe a little scruff,
yeah.
maybe a little chin hair, less than me, probably less than me. So
Yeah. So, let me
I,
ask you
I
this.
just wanted to throw them up there.
No,
Yeah,
that's
go ahead.
fine. Let me ask you this. If you don't see let me get us back up here. Um it let me this is what blows my mind, okay, for pits is that guy, I'm not from there. I'm not from that tiny little town, but it seems to me that there was enough distinction on how he looked that wouldn't you recognize him if it was, let's just say it is Richard Allen. If you passed him on the bridge or you saw that video, wouldn't you think it's somebody that you know?
And they have more video than they've shown, so they've got they've had to have seen him clearer than we seen him. I would
Absolutely.
think. So for the I mean, they could have showed a better clip of the video. Maybe surely they didn't show us the best clip of him. If they did, oh man, now we're in real trouble. If that's the
Yeah.
best clip, that's the best. And the sketches I draw, and I'm an artist. I've been an artist. I used to watch Command. The sketches they put out were so poor. They were just so poor.
Yes.
Like you got a guy with long hair coming out the back of a golfer's hat, or a like. I just don't see that in the photos. Like,
Yeah.
and then they're saying Daniel Pearson was one of the witnesses that helped provide for the sketch. And I feel like this is one of the kids you're covering up for. This is the one you're not making to answer to some of the questions.
Yeah.
Like, so what's up with that? But I sure do hope they got the right guy.
Did you ever look at that video? I mean, living there and suspect that you don't have to name names, but did you ever look at that photo and say, that looks just like so and so?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, several.
Hmm.
Man, that thing resembled like 5 people I knew in Delphi,
Yeah. Well,
and people that lived very close to that area.
yeah. And I heard an interview with Mike Patty. Just I was rewatching it the other day where he says it looks like it could be half the people in Indiana. I mean the clothes, the build, and stuff like that. And this was years ago, so I mean I think that made it more difficult. Uh, but if you live there, it seems to me like it wouldn't have been as difficult. You know what I'm saying?
And like the family went into CVS and actually was face to face and received photos After all that LE had shared with them up to 2022 or 21, do you not think they should have recognized or at least respected this guy? He just gave them free photos. Like, that's not just like a normal practice. Like, there's just some red flags there that seems like it would have threw him his direction a little sooner. And then to come out and say, the community's in no danger. We don't feel the community's in no. You had him on the streets for 6 years after that. The community was still in danger.
Yes. I couldn't believe, watching this from the very beginning, how they immediately said, oh, it's okay. Your kids are safe. How the heck your kids safe when you don't know who the perpetrator is? That was weird to me. Unless you know who it is.
I
Speculation,
mean,
I know, but
and then I just feel like they've sucked, like they've turned in revenue for all these people coming to Delphi. Revenue, they've got canal going, the canal, historic canal system going. And now they got all this outside traffic from all these people wanting to come over the murders, and they've just created revenue, and they're smiling ear to ear about it.
well, it
Money's
has
money,
been lucrative.
you know.
I'll say that.
Like, how can you put up a ball diamond for the girls and $500,000 ball but not hire a private investigator? Um,
That has been a
how can you claim you
question.
don't have money? And how do you not have money for the prosecution or this trial? Like, you spent all the money that really is needed for the right cause, and you want us to believe in you and trust in you, and I'm so disappointed with. I left 8 years ago, man. I had enough of their shit. They couldn't conform me to their way.
Well, these
I
are
mean,
the
I earned my gold medals coming through high school and shortly out of high school, and until they got their claws in me, man. And then I earned the other stripes, and I've had my rounds and rounds in that jail with some of them. Like, so they don't scare me none. Like, I'll tell them to their face, and they know it. You know, but
Okay, here's a
so
question.
I bit of vendetta. I no bullshit. Like these guys really gave me a hard time. So
Yeah.
here's my opportunity to share a little bit about them. You want to drag me through the mud for 20 years? Here's your karma. Because I'm tired about it.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I get it. I think I'd feel the same way. You have a question. Any truth to Thomas Skinner being the conservation officer that Richard Allen went to? Do you know?
Skinner had to be like Ruckus has even found out. Like Skinner's old, retired. Like I really can't see it being Skinner. Like Skinner was old when I was a kid. Skinner was in his 50s when I was 20. So hell, that's almost 30 years ago.
Yeah,
So he's got to be 580. I don't think he would have been no. I don't think he would have been the one that would have took the call or made the appointment or made the meeting. I do think it would have been Doolin. I really do.
yeah. Well, that's what everybody's saying. And
So
that's isn't that what the PCA or something like that says? I read that.
now was Skinner still senior conservation officer in the county, and everything went through him? Uh, Good possibility.
Yeah,
Good possibility. Him and Henshaw had a tight rein on White County, Carroll County. Those were the two old guys that were running this conservation
is that
when I was growing up.
okay? So are they retired now, though?
Got to be both pretty very. They got to be mid 70s, retired. I'm sure.
You're cutting out just a little bit. They're saying that Chad is saying maybe if you turn your video off, your camera off, and just have audio. I hate for you to do that though. It
That's
looks
okay.
very nice where you're at.
Yeah, I'm in a beautiful neck of the woods right now. I travel the nation hunting. I rob gemstones from the earth. That's my hobby. I've been
Uh,
42 states in 7 years,
Wow, that's a dream
so
for me.
I've got quite, I've got quite the collection, and I really enjoy being out in the wilderness.
Yeah,
I really do.
Oh, me
So
too. Me too.
I've been I've been blessed at my age to be able to do what I do.
Yeah.
I worked hard though. I worked all the steel mills, and I done all them dirty jobs in Delphi. They worked me over. They
Did you
really
ever
worked
work
me over.
at Packers?
Yeah, I worked Packers twice.
Really?
I worked there the first. I worked there for a year. The first year they come in.
I think,
Yeah, man, that place is a bad place.
okay, two things I've heard about Packers. One is that there's a lot of, illegal substances going through there. And then,
They're pushing. They're pushing that ice through there. That, it's not really a meth thing anymore. It's ice, and that all comes from the border.
yeah.
So, and that keeps them working hard, man. Keeps them up. Getting them 12-hour shifts. You know, and anybody deny it is crazy.
Okay, the second thing that people have said about indie Packers is that because of, a lot of this is alleged, we haven't seen the autopsy reports, but because of the supposed injuries on Libby, they have said that people from Packers would have been more apt because of the nature of their work.
Well, yeah, like them guys got good with knives. If you worked the line, if you worked the cut floor line, man, you could slice it up. You
Yeah.
learned how to use, and like that would make sense. I mean, honestly, I mean, you can literally jump down the tracks, the old tracks, and get to the high bridge from Packers in probably 15-minute walk, maybe 20. Yeah, yeah, about like that.
So, yeah, I mean, that's been, of course, it's speculation, but you have to think that people who are used to that, it's not as hard, uh, especially if you're talking about a pig. They say, they say they're the closest thing to humans. So I guess if you were skilled at that, you could hypothetically be skilled at something else. You add into that the drug factor, and, it could be a
Oh,
big fat mess.
I'm telling you, something doesn't seem right. Like this is not an alcoholic strike. This seems like more of a meth-induced, whacked out, delusional type, or an execution type thing. Like, uh, I don't think a drunk could have pulled it off. Like being drinking and pulled it off. Like, yeah, this was a very intense situation. I do believe.
Yeah. So who? Okay, we've talked about we know that we know that Richard Allen has been arrested, and there is a lot of good proof for that. But if you were to suppose, and again, this is speculation, which I don't love it, but I feel like you have to speculate a little bit sometimes just to get out of the box. What do you think happened?
I think if it is him, I think he had been going to the trails for a while and just kind of sitting. Maybe he was something triggered him in life. He spent a lot of time alone, and maybe the perversion was coming out. I don't know that that was necessarily what he did. I think I think if it was him, he was the lone wolf. And I think when he ordered the girls down the hill, the girls took off, and there was no turning the situation back. He had to make the execution. Um,
D-
they
d-
seen, they had seen his face. Uh, I think he made it. They made it personally. I think they made it through the creek before he got a hold of one.
mhm.
I think they up the edge of the creek there where the clothes were found in the creek, and I think there was a struggle there that ripped them clothes off and left the shoe in the water. And I think he managed to get control of one and maybe was struggling with the other, but the one was maybe unconscious. The first one he got to, he knocked unconscious, and then he went after the other one, and I think maybe they drugged the other one up to the area where the girls were found. Um, but I think really it's obvious that he really took a lot of rage out. It wasn't just I don't think he spent a lot of time after he did it. I think he couldn't
Yeah.
have if it's that one
Right.
because if you park there where he supposedly parked and pulled that off, you'd really had to been on the ball.
Well, yeah, and I'm just thinking, I'm a very outdoorsy type person myself, and sound carries pretty well, especially when there's no leaves on the trees in February. I mean, I just don't see how you can, if there's other people out on the trails anywhere in the area, how do you not hear something like that going on in the
Well,
middle of the afternoon?
like even there's been talk that Derek heard somebody screaming or yelling, or something going on
Did he?
down that. I I'm still. I guess I don't try to find out so much more, but it has been brought up. And then there were screams in the beginning. They were talking about screams were heard in the middle of the night. Um, but that stuff just kind of disappeared. A lot of it just dissipated. Like they went on the route of with so much news media and following the legal system and trusting in what the prosecutor and the cops are telling you, that the focus of a lot of the little things just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
even some of the original photos, like even some of the original photos and stuff, you can't even hardly find anymore. You know, like I don't know who's took it all down or made it go away, or a lot of the comments you could find that were. I mean, a lot of it's just gone. Some of it gets found by certain creators. Some of them come up with some of it, but not all of it.
yeah, I don't, even Nick though says, and I find it really hard to believe that one person did this in the middle of the afternoon. Nick
I,
has
like,
said more players, so has Doug Carter.
but like you're going this far into it with it. Well, where are they? Come on, because Richard Allen would have spilled the beans. I think by now. Like he's never been in jail. He doesn't know the mentality of the hardcoreness of it, and how the first time you are kind of soft, and after you've been there a few times, you just learn you just don't tell nobody fucking nothing. But
Yeah, you're
don't
right.
think I don't think he was. I feel like same with Keegan Klein. I feel like at this point in the stage of the game, they told on each other. Uh, you know, maybe they have. I don't know because they don't tell us shit.
Right. Well, on the one hand, I know that you're right that he would have. You would think if there were more people involved, he would have rolled. But on the other hand, what if he didn't because of threats? You know how other inmates threaten, and they have, like, it's not just an idle threat. They have connections on the outside. So I've often wondered, is some of Richard Allen's actions, his confession, or not rolling
Well,
on somebody, is he scared?
like that's true too. That's true too. And he's watched. He watched the biker crowd come to Delphi in herds. He was in town. He was right there in town when they had 4 years of that A bait and all that stuff going on with the fundraisers. Like, I guess maybe he should be scared.
Yeah. So I mean, I
He should
know
be.
it's real. It's a real threat. So, oh well, we lost him again. He'll come back. Um, Let me highlight some of your stuff. Oh, there he is. No, that's not him. Um, yeah, I think, like, look, I want to know who else could be involved. I think you have to really listen to what people say. Oh, he's gone. Like, I don't know what happened. He's gone. Uh, Sometimes listen to what people say, okay? Listen to what they don't say. Um, CJK says the bridge guy looks exactly like Alan to me. I think, honestly, I think he looks like bridge guy looks like what Mike Patty said. He looks like he could be anybody. Um, let's see. Jinx. That's an interesting thing. Yeah. Walkie talkies too. Hmm. Very good point. uh Ghost Whisperer, yes, you are right, it's very different. uh a knife is a knife is very different than shooting, for sure. And usually people who use that type of weapon, not always, I know some things happen, but usually they are, you see that in cases of where there's some real anger, there's really something going on. And it's an emotional thing, not just a easy out robberies, things like that. That's where you see a gun, because you don't care. There's no emotion to it. You're just trying to get out of there. So yeah, that is one thing that makes me, of course he wanted to be quiet, I guess, but there is so much. Bridge guy had Connor Lyons said Bridge guy had a walkie-talkie. Oh, Four Pits says he was using his wife's phone and it overheated. Okay. Well, maybe he can come back in just a few minutes, okay? I hope so. That was so very. Uh, it's okay, Four Pits. Like, look, maybe that's what was going on. Why he was cutting out. Maybe the phone was. Mine does that too. Do y'all's ever just kind of look like that? All right. Let's see. Well, hopefully, I'm going to leave this open. Just so you know, Four Pits, I'm going to leave this open for you to come back in if you can. How long we been on? We've been on 52 minutes. That's not too bad. All right, let me read some of your comments. Let's see here. Ghost Whisperer. Jinx, that's such a good point. Let's see. Somewhere along the line, someone told us the McCains had nothing to do with it and we just dropped it. But it is suspicious. I didn't know that, Jinx. David McCain has a website too. Interesting. Uh, you know, if you want to put up the link, and if you don't, that's fine. I get it. Um, so I hate that we missed him. There's so much good information, especially from somebody who lives there. So digital. He may have a prison gang leader babysitting him, telling him to confess or something, or yeah, or else. Just my opinion. I don't know what RA's involvement may or may not be, but everything about his arrest is a huge coincidental mess. You're absolutely. Yeah, the coincidences, the whole timeline with the election, Yeah, people are just saying, "Oh, well, it just happened that way." Whatever. Whatever. Then you don't understand politics. That's all I'm saying. Is if I don't need these if he's not on. Yeah, you don't understand politics if that's the way you think it is, cuz no. And I'm just going to leave that there. But yeah, that has always been something I've wondered since, especially since the confession came out. I mean, how do we know that somebody is not threatening him? Like I said, I work in jail. I know what happens all the time. Uh, let's see. CJK, but to believe law enforcement would allow a ring to commit the crimes and allow others to go unarrested is nonsensical to me. They aren't all corrupt, in my opinion. Some have been incompetent for sure. I mean, I couldn't say. Are they all corrupt? Usually not. Now, it is a much smaller police force, but because it's a smaller area. Like I've said, in my area, I work with some great officers. Do we get people in that, are corrupt? Sometimes, yes, we do. Okay. Okay. Four Pits. All right. Let me put my earbuds back in and let me see.
So I'm gonna try, babe. Let me
I,
get my.
yeah, we really, I'm like, I'm like sitting here after you got off, like, oh, what do I
I
do
hate.
now? I have nothing on my mind. I was all
I
about
hate.
put Four Pits.
I hate to see us struggling, but we're gonna try to get through this.
Okay. It's
So,
okay.
like, you work at the jail.
I do. I work at our
Yeah.
county jail.
So, like, I've dealt with you jailers. Like you truly know the what an inmate can go through. Like,
Yes.
especially if you're a little out of line.
Yes. I'm very familiar.
You know all the tricks the jailers play on the inmates. You know all the stuff, the little added stuff that's really not necessary. The guy's already locked up, man.
Yeah.
Let him say what he's gonna say, da da da. There's no reason to take you out in the day room and make you sit out there all day. All the little tricks, or take you down to the hole for saying you look like a fat piece of whatever, or the games that are played, and I do
Yes.
too. So let's not deny that this guy could be really going through some stuff.
He could be, absolutely. And that's the thing. Even though I work with good officers, and I've always said that I work with the best crew, but when you have somebody in there that is accused of something like that, you're looked at differently. You're not popular.
It's changed. No, it changes the whole aspect of things.
Yes.
Like a guy goes to jail for killing a cop, he's a hero. But a guy goes to jail for killing a kid, no, no.
Right.
You've done struck you've done struck the wrong nerve with everybody.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
So that's
we
why,
don't know, and like, so have we learned? Have they moved him?
I
I,
haven't
we're
seen, I
still
saw,
we're getting wishy-washy still. Like, has he been moved to Cass County?
not that I'm aware of. I saw there was a drop that somebody did that showed, something about it wasn't signed off on. It was just the document saying to move him to Cass County, but I haven't heard. So I don't know.
I'm going to say not at this point. I don't believe so, and I don't see what's wrong with it. Like, the guy should have a right to his defense and access to his attorneys in a reasonable drive and a reasonable setting and situation. Like,
Yeah, even if he's
this is the United
100%
States of
guilty.
America, and we have, like, even if he's guilty, I feel like he's guilty right now. You know,
Yeah.
I'd be the first to want to see him hang, but
Yeah.
I've been on the inside. There's a day, you have a fair day in trial. You have a fair day in the courtroom, and then your day will come, and that's when they can court on it.
Yeah.
Until then, man.
Right. Let's see. Did we lose you again? Okay.
I hope not.
Okay, you know what I'm going to do?
And then
Um,
oh, I wanted to talk.
okay,
I
hold
wanted
on,
to talk
hold
about
on. Just
something. It's
I want you to hold on just a second. I want you to talk just in case it has anything to do with this platform. Y'all, I'm gonna close this one. Um, give me couple of minutes and I'm going to do this again on StreamYard. So we're going to have a second live. And if we're still having problems, then we know it's completely the internet. Otherwise, I'm going to say something's wrong with this platform. I really want to hear what you say. So I'm going to leave you. Give me just a second. And I'll probably going to have to, Jinx, be on guard. When I get on StreamYard, I'm going to have to put up a link real fast, and then I'm gonna have to. I can't change it on EVMux. I can change the link
I,
so nobody else can use it, but
so I
it'll
can
just
get you.
be on what?
I got two phones running, so I can catch you. You throw that link up now, I'll catch it.
Well, I don't. I have to set it up in StreamYard. That's why I say give me just a couple of minutes, and then
Yeah.
I'll throw it up there on the live stream and copy it, and then Jinx, if you will, just delete it as soon as he gets on it. All right, I will see you just a minute. Don't go anywhere. We really want to hear what 4Pitt says.